As the sun sets, so sets the mind. I wanted to share with you a few things about effective downloading. And over the reality checks that I see, that star seeds, people, seekers, finders, it can be helpful when we're there. So somebody said I look like Intergalactic Federation Sacred Service. I might be that. So in the unusual display of self, I can only give you my conclusion to, we're going through a period where some people are very crazy. It's not just one I have, and for those who know who they are, let that be an advice to get facts correct. I had people talking to me, changing their names in conversations. I had seen people that are claiming they're Sananda. The next one is Krishna. Another one is Archangel Michael. The craziest I've heard was that a lady said that she's Maria Magdalene, and hear this, and she's giving birth. She will be giving birth to a chosen one, and he will bring in physical form Archangel Michael. I'm an experiencer, I have experience, but this leaves the plateau of where I think it's actually functional. Try not to laugh. And where I cannot fathom the practical application of such. Reality check should be that I tell my friends, never assume unless you're psychic enough to know the facts. Like assuming something that is not reality, it's not even potential, it's just something fabricated, and it won't last, it won't hold. So in these energy spectrums and energy waves and patterns that we're going through right now, is sometimes we look back at what is it that we have, what are we working with. So I can tell you like this, I have, you can say, funds here, resources here, and we can make an exchange and move that according to the balance of the given parameters. So I want to share with the talented ones that have downloads, those who dream of machinery and things that they have seen that will be in the future. I started with the simplest download. The download was as follows. If you can have a copper wire and a clear quartz crystal, and you wrap them together, and you pour them in resin, and the material costs you $30 to get all that, so you can continuously do that. That's how you begin. Everything else is and remains fiction. So when you have an idea, I want to do this. The spiritual or the radio signal perception. I have an idea. Then you take a pen and a paper, you make a plan. The action is to create and bring into physical what you had planned, and the fourth is the positive outcome of the experience and the experiment that you can manifest what you had in mind. So this sometimes is where your assumption lies, the facts lie here, And what really is here. And you wanna intuitively meet what you had in mind, that it is so. So the craziness that I have had experienced is just to make really clear what reality is. Forever constant moving. I had a person explaining to me that they found out that the Fibonacci sequence is eating itself up. It's all doomy and gloomy. Without due respect, I looked at the Fibonacci sequence and the number codes and the sacred geometry based on that. That's based on human life. I don't think that anything that is life evolving, it will eat itself up. Plus, it is present in every biological life form as the Fibonacci sequence. And when you begin the numbers of the Fibonacci sequence, it is a spiral that is forever expanding and never in the same place, forever expanding, never repeats itself. So when somebody tries to explain to me that this is an interwoven concept to keep you trapped in one-dimensional thinking, I think you're lost. Not to be fresh, but there is, it's like you have a flat tire and I mentioned that years ago, and you pray to an unknown deity that nobody knows, that's based on a myth, outside of you, hoping the tire would pump itself. And your car miraculously would fix itself. And guess what? It sits in the driveway and nothing happens. Why? Because you're doing nothing. That's why we came to this planet, to know that we are creator. We're also co-createur. Créateur des automobiles, Renault, the French commercial. You have to participate in creation and motivate yourself into doing so, and then look at the outcome of what is it that I have created. Somebody approached me and said, I'm so glad that you considered building this community with me and moving in with me. And I'm sitting there like, where in God's name did you get the idea from that I'm building a community now and you moving in with me? Like, that's where I lose people. My concept is, if I have 3 pebbles and I want to create something out of it, I got to use my 3 pebbles. But people too many times, especially in this day and age, talk about imaginary things that are not really real. I distance myself from stuff that I cannot find, where I can't find an application for life and into life, that this can make sense now. I distance myself. I have people, and it amazes me, and watch out for those. Starseeds witness that. People that don't call themselves starseeds, whatever, it's all labels anyway. Talented ones, indigos, gifted kin, whatever. I have experienced cases where people for years, the best of friends, winged words, always nice. Mind you, I come from the non-internet world. My life wasn't based on internet. If I had a friend, that person would call me, I would know that person personally, and the person would come to visit me. And then for over years, we would develop what we would call a friendship. Clicking, like or dislike, doesn't resemble personal contact. So for the internet and social media people, they are on it like, if you're more on that than 8 hours a day and you don't turn that into something purposeful for you, that this can make you money or abundance, that you can be happy, then what are you doing on the net? It becomes parasitic and it's going to eat itself up, and there's no providence, prominence, there's no abundance there. There's decay and loss over time. We have seen that also with, because it was brought to my attention, things from past gurus. When I see people making predictions, and I advise against predictions because time in the quantum flux is forever changing. You can't predict anything. You can, like Sherlock Holmes, almost psychically announce a probable outcome as in a probable, possible moment in time where a situation can lead. So if you see a ship on a river, and 7 miles down the river comes the fall, and you see the ship not changing course, it doesn't need an entire day to realize the sun's up. Basic principalities. So if you look at problems and aspects and people in life, and you take your time, you don't say, you don't criticize, you observe. And all you gotta do is sit still. Don't engage, don't react, don't counteract. If something comes directly at you, of course, you have all the more power to defend yourself. If somebody comes directly at you, Wing Chun. But before that, you do not move. What you do is you observe, you wait, and you'll see the ship is going down the fall. If the crew doesn't change their state of mind or the opinion or the direction, then there will be problems. So you can look at this in life as a steady stream. First of all, the stream wants to be recognized. And then you have to find out, what's my position in that stream? Am I in the center, which is when you're in balance, you're in abundance, you're at peace? Am I on the left? On the left? On the right? Set it off. Set it off on the left, y'all. Set it off on the right, y'all. Set it off. Set it off. You know the song. If not, the idea is to stay in balance and hold the balance, and do not overproduce your vocal cords for things you need in life, for the recognition that you have never received in life, for the failures you have refused to integrate, continuing on with the story, coming back to observation, silence, and watching how things unfold. And then what you do is you look at patterns. So if I see in the outer realm 4 or 5 people talking the same craziness to me, then I know there's a crazy wave. So I am cautious. I watch, I listen. And what I want to explain to people that have approached me, that they have these powerful downloads and they're supposed to build something or do something. As you can see behind me, I'm working on a photonic bed. It's a couple of $1,000 work job to get resources, to put my technology in, to remove the electronics and turn this into a reflective Kozyrev mirror that's magnetically based to ground yourself back in and give you somewhat of the effect of a pyramid chamber without the pyramid. That requires for me to get in gear to make that happen. And the progress which I am showing on camera will be the result of I have put that into physical form. And that's the first level of magic before anything. So starseeds in particular, if you have downloads about quantum physics, don't think you get smart overnight. When I communicate with my extraterrestrial contact, and it's very specific, I'm an experiencer all my life. It took me some time to create the full awareness that this is really so and that this is my life. Make no mistake. Going through ridicule, humiliation, all that, it doesn't really matter, is you follow your heart. That's not based on competition. I'm not out there in Hollywood or in a commerce. I'm here to do it right. So can we make this work? Can we bring functionality to what's being created? Before I drift, because there's so much coming in. What your extraterrestrial family or your angelic descent or whatever you want to call it requires for you to do with downloads if you have a download on quantum physics, then watch What the Bleep Do We Know 1 and 2. If you get something about, I don't know, Madame Blavatsky, interdimensional Sanat Kumara, system governors of universes, Jwal Khul, people that observe local universes to learn, supreme beings at the size of planets, planetary logos and information, then it is required for you to study that. The download is useless to you if you don't have the program capacity to store that. Meaning if you have an iPhone 6, you cannot download the latest downloads that are online right now. You need to, I'm not saying buy the new iPhone. What I'm saying is in the body, you need to modulate your spiritual atonement and tune yourself to that frequency so this download can be embedded and you can bring forth science. So in order to build squares or put things together, I have to know about engineering, and that 1 + 1 is 2, or in synergetic aspects, 1 merged with 2 becomes 3. I have to know a certain science. I have to know a certain modality that is understood by a listener. Speaking clear, non-aggressive, holding a conversation with you and I that you think, hey, I think he's talking to me, then this is for you. The shadow will resist, the shadow will persist, the shadow will insist, the shadow is excessive, is extreme, isn't happy. Like I said, ascension isn't built on a cheeseburger. I'm not saying that you can't eat what you want, but if you want to do that every day, it's going to be tough for your body to ascend. You have to eat healthy. You have to subscribe to healthy thought forms. You have to have healthy thought management, well-being, vitality, knowing self, knowing how to meditate, or better yet contemplate, as in concentration within the meditation becomes contemplation, meaning you sit with yourself and analyze what's going through you. What is it that you want to do? I see most people online are reactive. They are producing in order to react against, to make a point, which will never be made in a big forum or reach the big. I've seen little guys approaching those who want to build. Those Robin Hood types don't go against corporate. They more obey corporate because they know at the end of the month you know, when you call to pay your tax, you pay your tax. When your cable bill comes in, you pay your cable bill. Don't waste your life, as in your time, with nonsensical things. If you have downloads that require for you to study, that's like my main underlying theme here today is, then please sit down and study. People that have no money, trust me, 20 years ago I have been there. You have time to study. When you're broke, you have actually time to sit your ass down and read a lot, which is what I did, and I still do. When work comes in, you read less because you have work to do. I work every day. I sometimes have to delete messages where somebody says, Ra, get a job. I have a, you can say, 8 to 11 job that requires for me to pay attention, to be alert. When I mold, when I make fabric, I prototype objects that I can then pour, prototype, copy, bring back out, bring back in form. I'm not going to reveal what form that's going to be. And I look at workable modalities and what works. Where's the failure? Failure or success is an extreme. Yeah, that extreme once learned, you inherit, you master it. Thus, you master your root chakra. Root chakra, turning that into monetary exchange or resources built from that. As I say, nothing from nothing leaves nothing. We need to inhale and exhale oxygen. Without life, it wouldn't be possible. Our bodies function because the community of the organs within this powerful amoebic central intelligence, we wouldn't be. If one organ wants to act selfish, well, the others have to go into coping and supporting until system failure comes in. That has to do with maintenance. The same thing with your car. We all know this. But how many times have you hear people driving by with their car and it sounds like shitty bang bang, fan belt and all that stuff off, and you ask yourself why you're not maintaining your car? Or the person that has the license plate almost peeled off like a scroll, the insurance is off by a year, and you know you will be pulled over, and when you get pulled over, your ticket is $500, but your plate was $25. Why are we setting ourselves up for these dilemmas? Do we not see ourselves in simple tasks help us to prevent bigger things from rolling over us? Yes, laws, rules, and regulations on this planet are not fair. So what are we doing to create a system that make that fair? What are we electing? Always in reflection, what's being elected or what seems to have control is what are we giving away? What are we letting run the show? And what are we doing with our garden? Everybody has to tend their own garden. My grandma used to say, you will know who's who by the fruits of their labor. Directly. That's why we have transparent and online business right now. And I'm a public figure. So if I mess up, my entire stuff looks messy. And it's all up to me. The entire world can access me. And I am the one that's accountable for me. I am authentic. People that have met me off camera can testify that there's nothing changing here. This is not Hollywood, or like somebody once stated, I'm a Hollywood actor without a role. I've never applied for Hollywood, never been to acting. I'm well trained by my mom. I think I'm well behaved. I am European, so I'm a little bit different. I like the Asian discipline of disciplining the mind, being in order, clothing in order, having that clean and a perspective to life, and being direct with delivery, and doing my best to shine like a lighthouse for that example. So conduct your business, let your product be good, and that's all. So for star seeds, very important. If you have technical downloads, start reading, start building your mind, exercise the mind, and learn. The learning never stops at no age. So I learn, I read, I look at emerald tablets, I look at quantum physics. But here's also what I do is I look at what is quantum physics saying that matches with the emerald tablets of Tohoth the Atlantean. And if I find numbers that are used in the Lamech scroll by Enoch, as in Enoch, to Arabic Saurit, and measurements of the pyramid, which we found over 100,000 different ways to interpret accurate mathematical knowledge, where the status quo still refuses to accept that, saying this is all random. And my grandma said God fights, how do you say? To fight ignorance is almost like an unwinnable fight. That's what God gives up. So for ignorance, I'm at that stage, I have no more patience. When people get fresh, use curse words, make up storylines that are not factual. I studied profiling. I studied psychology as a hobby. I don't have a degree. I don't think I need one. I think what I need and what we all need is common sense. So some things make sense to you, some things do not make sense. When a baby doesn't want to be held by the bad uncle, well, they must be bad. When a dog barks at somebody for no reason, why is the animal approaching that person? If I've seen a documentary where a guy whispers in the wind and the bulls, the buffaloes in the field, go to sleep. They lay down. That's power. And Indian guru in a village in India gets called because there's a tiger that attacks the people. And the dude goes in front of the village, sits down, and the tiger approaches the guy, is ready to, eat that dude. And the dude is, raising his finger, whispers, and the tiger touches the nose, the finger, and he spends the day with the tiger, and the tiger disappears, never to returning to the village. That's power. So there's things in the physical that you can do where you are a powerful being, self-empowered. You don't depend on anybody. Not a speaker, not a guru, not whatever yet. You are your own master. You are in your own independence. You make choices for you. You decide what's for you and what's not for you. Essentially, you take the stuff away that you do not need and you work with what the essence is. Hence progress. So the idea is make yourself smarter, build your mind, increase the temple of knowledge, unfold what you have, keep the ruckus, see, as you can hear this, keep the chaos away from you, be non-reactive, and move forward in your endeavors. And now it's time, party people, study. If you're into angels, then study angels. If you're into many dimensions, then look at anything that is described as in dimensions or parallel universes. If it's sci-fi, study sci-fi. If it's the science behind Harry Potter, then for Christ's sake, then study what is for Harry Potter. I'm Dobby. I'm not supposed to say that. Bad elf. So, yeah. Wise man can play the fool, but a fool can never play the wise man. That is irreversible, without a doubt, fact. Because if somebody doesn't have the knowledge of the trade and the arts, you can tell. It is evident, we can see it, and we know it. So that's how you also develop your BS detector. BS can also mean belief system, same thing. So I think you hear me knocking, folks. I came in, I explained this to you, so if you have downloads and you want to anchor them in properly, you need to study how to anchor that in. It is uninteresting to us if we hear that you're supposed to build a device that will change the sky, it's interdimensional, it's past or gone, and you'll have this big property in all of these systems when you not in your little four walls can build a little thingy that can do something in physical form to make that happen, to bring that abundance that you're dreaming of forward. So yeah, we can say the divine always has our backs, but I witness people that always are guests in other people's homes, always in exchange, not paying rent, this for free, that for free, caring and sharing for 20 years, not accomplishing what they could in their potential, saying that they're blessed. That's the delusion of this fake happiness when you think that you're taken care of, when you always need somebody that takes care of you. And that is when transactions, as in what you require from the universe, do not make sense, when you do not wake up to, I can get this, I can pay my way, I can make a decision and get into my own thing, but not claiming to be this simplistic person that lives simplistic because you can't afford to pay attention. I say this joke to some people, you're so broke you can't afford to hire self. So don't take this personal. The shadow might respond, the shadow might react. This is not a judgment, this is an evaluation from a neutral point of view. This is what you can do, what is in your power, your right to establish yourself as you believe in it. Doesn't require your parents or friends to confirm that. Can you love yourself enough to confirm that? For you have enough self-love to create, so live to create. On that note, I see you most certainly on the flip side.